Croeso nôl pawb. Welcome back everyone at home. Carol, would you be so kind as to do a roll call again, please?
Thank you, Chair. So Councillor Gareth D. Jones.
Yma.
Councillor Adrian Jones.
Present.
Councillor Tom Colbert has given apologies. Councillor Angela Davis.
Yma.
Councillor Deb Edwards.
Present.
Councillor Claire Hall.
Here. Present.
Councillor Peter James.
Present.
Councillor Ed Jones. Apologies. Councillor Gareth E. Jones.
Present.
Councillor Karina Kenyon Wade.
Present.
Councillor Carl Lewis.
Present.
Councillor Jeff Morgan.
Yes.
Councillor Gareth Pugh.
Present.
Councillor Edwin Roderick. Councillor Elwyn Vaughan. Councillor Elwyn Vaughan, because we're moving on to the third application, he declared an interest, so he's out of the chamber. Councillor Jonathan Wilkinson.
Present.
And then Councillor Hugh Williams was apologies.
Thank you,
Thank
Carol.
you.
As Carol mentioned then, with members' permission, we will change the order of this meeting and just go now straight to the application for the Machynlleth School, if everyone is content with that, because Councillor Vaughan is in another meeting that he can't get out of. So I'm just looking for permission of you all. Are you happy to do that? Thank you. Diolch yn fawr. Yeah, right, symud ymlaen, item 4.4, cais I cael ysgol newydd yn Machynlleth, 24/0710/FUL, demolition of the existing secondary school, construction of a new build dual stream through school, 3G sports pitches, athletics facilities, outdoor performance space, play areas, plant and ME, mugger pitch, pickup, drop off, construction of a new access, vehicle and cycle parking, and associated works. And the officer who's going to guide us through again is Richard. So, Richard, the floor, we have no speakers, so the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. There was an update report for this application as well, and the applicant is Powys County Council, hence why it's before you today. Okay, so first slide here is showing the site location. The arrow on the left is showing the application sites on the existing playing fields of Machynlleth School, and the second arrow on the right is showing the existing school. Let's follow to the next slide. So this slide here, location plan showing the extent of the red line boundary. As you can see, it encompasses the existing school facility along with the playing fields and adjoining Machynlleth. So the proposed development is located within the settlement development boundary of Machynlleth on the playing fields of the existing school. You got the A487 trunk road to the south, and you got Machynlleth Conservation Area and Article 4, slightly adjoining elements of the red line boundary. And across the A487 to the south, you've got Machynlleth Registered Historic Park and Gardens. So this is the site layout. The proposal seeks to provide a new dual stream school, which will cater for 210 primary pupils, 330 secondary and sixth form, 48 early years, 24 flying start, and additional community facilities. The site layout before you, the school is located centrally to the site. It is difficult to see on these plans. There's a lot of information. So you've got the school building, the northern elements, to the northeast, you've got the parking provision, electric vehicle charging points. More to the east, you've got the new proposed access and the roundabout coming off the A487 trunk road, the circulation area for drop-off and for drop-off pickup buses, and that there's new sports facilities on site. You've got 3G pitches and mugger pitches. You've got also other facilities associated with educational learning across the site. So the proposed development is considered to comply with policy C1 of the local development plan. It's an acceptable location located within the settlement development boundary of Machynlleth. As you can see, it is a large site, and there'll be lots of opportunities provided with this development for educational learning through the school facility and also the associated sports and additional learning areas of the site. As mentioned, the building is centrally located. It is one building structure with different levels to the building. So be one single unit. To the northeast, as I said, you've got the parking. That's the entrance side of the school. It is of a lower elevation. So here you can see the elevations of the proposed development. The single story element is the entrance, providing a welcome avenue into the school. You've got the younger years of learning located on that side. You've then got the 3-story elements to the southwest, overlooking the pitches. The materials proposed, locally sourced timber cladding, as well with vertical slate hanging for the walls. It is proposed to include PV panels onto the roof of the scheme as well. The building has been orientated and designed so from the southwest, providing a strong frontage coming into Machynlleth. So it has been designed to reflect its landscape and its context in which it's provided. Just to help give a better visual of the scheme, because the plans are very detailed and large and they are difficult to present. So there is CGI mock-up of the proposed site. So this is an indicative view of the scheme with the landscaping set in its context for the approach into school. This is the main entrance to the school from the east. You've got the bridge here crossing the existing brook, and this is from the southwest, the roundabout, the existing roundabout located down towards the southwest. So you can see the school set within what are currently the playing fields, and the design, the strong frontage provided, and the use of materials. You can see the connectivity of the site with existing footways, boundary treatments that are provided. And this is another viewpoint just showing how the development will be screened as well within the vicinity. This is taken from Greenfield Street. And another CGI photo of the school entrance. As you can see, it's well screened with with the proposed landscaping measures, and showing a connectivity along with the new access proposed for the development site. Appreciate it's hard to read, but this is the ground floor plan of the proposed school. The blue area to the top is a sports hall. The orange colours provided are the teaching spaces. The pink is like halls provided within the school. Yellow are circulation areas, and you've got other staff and admin areas, toilets, etc. Denoted throughout the layout there. First floor plan, much of the same. The colours are still as I've just mentioned, so orange with teaching spaces. On the right-hand side, you can see there you've got the part of the roof for the first floor element with the solar PV panels provided. Second floor plan, again, more of a roof plan for the lower level, and the extensive solar PV, which is also being provided. You've got more teaching areas, circulation, staff spaces on here. And then a roof plan showing the full extent of the roof and the renewable energy infrastructure that will be proposed as part of the scheme as well. So as mentioned, to the very north of the site, you've got overflow parking. Just below that on the northern corner, that's the parking for the site. And then to the right below, you've got EV charging points. You've got a proposed new access off the A487 trunk road roundabout into those circulation areas, bringing you into the main entrance of the school. There's stuff like grow domes incorporated within it. The 2 pitches to the south of the site that will be junior 3G pitches. There's other sports facilities such as long jump, triple jump apparatus within the site. You've got a large 3G 7-side pitch to the southwest, the larger pitch there to the rear of the school. And also, sorry, to the north of the site, you've got 3 mugger pitches incorporated as well. You've got areas for service yards, communal areas for students to congregate, and other table tennis type of facilities provided to kind of make it more of a campus and to make good use of the site. There is connectivity through the site for walking and cycling as well, just to help navigate the large facility that's provided. Just to give a bit of context of how the site currently looks. So here I am, A487 Trunk Road. This is the main frontage to the school. And this is southwesterly, facing the opposite direction, with the school there to my right. So now I'm down at the far end roundabout in the westerly direction on the A487. So you've got, I'm on the closer to the Plasma Aldwyn Registered Historic Park and Garden to my rear. The field across the road, that's part of the existing playing fields. And again, further across there, you've got the playing fields, which would be the site of the school. Behind the tree line, you can see the screen behind it is the existing school. And these are just some photos from within the site. So I'm looking back out westerly towards that roundabout where I was before. And this will be the site where the school will be located. Again, just a bit further forward into the site. The cars in the distance where I was when I took the previous photos. So it's a large existing playing fields, which will accommodate the proposed usage of the new school. Again, the existing school, which will be demolished behind the grouping of trees. And here, as you can see, the existing school facility on site proposed to be demolished. As mentioned, the proposal is deemed to accord with the current local development plan in respect of a principle of development for a community facility. The design of the school is considered to be acceptable, well thought out, and provides a functional purpose to deliver the educational needs for students within the locality and further afield. There's numerous sports facilities provided as part of the site as well, which are welcomed and will provide benefits to the school and the local area. Accordingly, the proposed design, materials used, scale of the proposal is deemed to be acceptable and complies with current local development plan policy. The siting is within the settlement of Machynlleth. It's not deemed to have an adverse impact on the surrounding landscape. It's located adjacent to existing built developments. It is noted the national park is located approximately 700 meters away from the site. but given the grouping, the scale, the existing built development and it being within a settlement of Machynlleth, it's not deemed to have adverse impact on this asset. The application has been supported by a considerable amount of technical documentation, which has been consulted on by the consultees. The school is providing a number of outdoor facilities, such as the sports pitches. The application has been supported by acoustic information, which has been reviewed by the relevant consultee, in that matter, environmental protection. There are a number of conditions which would be attached to the recommendation of consent in respect of noise, to help mitigate and safeguard any of the neighbouring residential properties within the area. Subject to these conditions, no objection has been raised by environmental protection. There is external plant machinery that will be incorporated in the development as well, and that forms part of the environmental protection conditions with the mitigation measures concern. Air quality, given it's a major application, has also been assessed by environmental protection. No adverse comments or objection have been raised in respect of this element with the consultee. In respect of access highways, the development does propose access onto the trunk road. As the statutory consultee, Welsh Government Trunk Road Agency have been consulted on the proposal. They have not raised any objection to the proposed means of access that is being provided as part of the scheme, with relevant conditions in respect of securing the appropriate access, conditioned with any granting of planning consent. Powys Highways have also been consulted on the proposal. They haven't objected. The main people would be Welsh Government, given that the access is onto their trunk road, their assets. Powys Highways have recommended condition as well, just in respect to the boundary treatments, like with Welsh Government, just to make sure that they're appropriate given the proximity to the access roads. Other technical information Welsh Government required are construction traffic management plans, visibility, drainage, and, as I just mentioned, boundary fencing along the trunk road, just to make it sure it's appropriate and not impact highway safety to any degree. But in essence, no objection has been raised to the proposal from those two consultees. Ecology. The application has been reviewed by Natural Resources Wales and the Powys ecologist. An HRA and appropriate assessment have been undertaken by Powys as the competent authority. That has been consulted on by Natural Resources Wales. We've provided them with a reasonable time frame in which to respond to the information provided with the mitigation measures conditions that have been recommended. Given that no response has been provided within that time frame, as a competence authority, we can move forward with the recommendation. The sites that have been picked up in respect to appropriate assessments, they're located in a region of 4 kilometres away. The site is deemed to be hydrologically connected to those areas, hence why HRA and appropriate assessment has been undertaken at the site. Again, in respect of ecology, extensive information has been provided in respect of ecological reports and assessments in respect of the sites and protected and priority species within the vicinity. A number of conditions have been requested by Natural Resources Wales and Ecology in respect of compliance with the information provided, and also just some further details as standard, but fundamentally no objection has been raised, subject to securing of that information from either Natural Resources Wales or Powys Ecology. In respect of flood risk, It is noted that the existing school is entirely within the C2 flood zone. Natural Resources Wales have been consulted on the proposal. Supplementary support information has been submitted with the application in respect to flood consequence assessments, which has been reviewed by Natural Resources Wales. And they have noted that the footprint of the proposed new school is located outside of the C2 flood zone, and NRW welcome the proposal as it is considered a betterment in relation to the existing situation. As I say, where the current school is located in an area of high risk from the school stream waters and surface water flooding. Land drainage have also been consulted on the proposed development and reviewed the submitted FCA submitted with the application. The measures in the document will be secured as part of conditions with the recommendation. No fundamental objection has been raised from land drainage team. It is noted that the application will be subject to SAB approval also, which will be another mechanism outside of the planning process. There are rights of way located adjacent to the development, but no objection has been raised. The development won't detrimentally impact. An informative would be attached to any consent, highlighting that through the development works that these rights of way should not be impeded or blocked or damaged in any way. In respect of cultural heritage, the Heritage Officer of Powys has been consulted on the proposal. They reviewed the existing school and whether it should require any listed status, which has been confirmed that it does not meet the tests for listing. CADU have also been consulted on the proposal, given scheduled monuments and a registered historic park and garden within the vicinity. However, they have raised no objection to the proposed development. Contaminated land have also been consulted on the proposal and have recommended a number of conditions to be attached to any granting of planning consent. Based on a full review of the information through extensive consultation with statutory consultees and amended information, this has led officers to be able to recommend recommendation of conditional consent. I do note on the report provided, there is a note below the recommendation in respect of the response from Natural Resources Wales on the appropriate assessment, but given that we have consulted them as we are the competent authority and they haven't provided the required response within the time frame, we would be able to move forward with a recommendation for conditional consent, subject to your consideration. Thank you.
Richard, thank you very much for such a comprehensive report, over 100 pages long, so very detailed, so thank you for all your work. Members, I'm over to you. Looking for the first hand. Never known you be shy before. Councillor Gareth Jones, please.
Yeah, could I ask for a little bit more clarification about the flood risk? I know the site. Now, I'm quite surprised that Richard is saying that the current school is in category C2 and the proposed site isn't, because from my understanding, the proposed site is actually lower in level than the school. You actually got down to the playing field from the current site. And I know there is a stream between the two, but I'm quite surprised that if this current school site's in C2, why isn't the proposed site in C2? I'm also concerned that you're saying you haven't got some information from NRW that we haven't received to make that decision. You know, I recognise that this school needs replacing because it's not in a very good condition, but I've got concerns that you haven't got a map that a slide that shows where the flood zones are, in the 100-year flood zone is with this proposed school site overlaid.
Richard, please.
I appreciate what you're saying. The information submitted with the application that has been consulted on with the statutory consultees NRW, they acknowledge the existing site is within the C2. They've assessed the proposed site for the school, and they do consider it to be betterment in relation to the existing situation there. So the application has been supported by flood consequence assessments and technical information prepared by the applicant agent. It's gone through full consultation with NRW, and they have given a position back on the application. They are considering it to be a betterment in respect of flooding. Again, land drainage have also been consulted on the application, reviewed the technical information provided as well, and they haven't recommended a fundamental objection other than conditions with the application. So given the information that has been provided to me as part of the application through technical bodies that do the technical information and consultation, has been deemed to be acceptable.
Gareth, I'll allow you to come back.
Yeah, so can I come back on a follow-up question? I'm also surprised that there's no grass on the proposed. It's all artificial surfaces, isn't there? I don't think there's any green grass on the site. Because all the developments in the playing field, the current site and car park becomes a car park of muggers. So this school is going to have no grass with the children going out and play on.
Richard, please.
I appreciate the plans I provided probably aren't the clearest. There is extensive landscaping throughout the site. There's communal areas, there's additional tree planting, grow domes. And the green infrastructure of the site has been consulted on through ecology, and it's deemed to be appropriate. There is some trees that have been felled or would be felled as part of the proposal, but the compensatory planting is deemed to be sufficient and meet the ratios required by Planning Policy Wales. So it's been fully assessed, and the level of planting is deemed to be acceptable in accordance with Planning Policy Wales.
I accept that. It's just the fact there's nowhere there where a group of boys and primary age boys can go in, unless you're going to use muggers to go, they can go and kick a football about, or it seems quite a tight site, isn't it? I'm happy to support the officer's recommendations, but I think there are some concerns, and I've got some other questions you want to take up with education colleagues. I assume you haven't got the.
As always, Councillor Gareth, we have to consider what's in front of us,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
know you're
yeah.
aware of, but
Yeah.
it's a valid concern, like where
Yeah.
they're going to play rugby. And
Yeah.
hopefully the school will be doing some work in relation to that, to work with.
But
the
I
rugby
assume
club.
the 3G will be allowed for sporting, but it's where it's where the
Yeah,
younger children can actually go out to play. When you've got this site's going to have 2-year-olds on it and 18-year-olds on it. It's a massive age range on the site.
As I say, we are discussing what's in front of us. We bow to your knowledge of education, but that's what they've come up with, and that's what's before us today. I'll allow you to come back later. We'll go to Councillor Carl, and if you want to come back, Councillor Gareth, you're more than welcome. Councillor Carl, please.
Thank you, Chair. I wholeheartedly support this application. When you're ready, I'm happy to move. Before we do, much has been made about the solar panels and EV charging points. Just want to ask, I don't see any detail in the pack, but how is the hot water and heating system? How is that going to be fossil fuel? I know that, we've called a nature emergency and what have you within the council, and I'm just wondering how that is going to play into this as being a Powys County Council building. So, Chair, if I could ask that question, please.
Certainly. Councillor Richard.
Unless there's development associated with providing additional infrastructure to provide an alternative fuel source, like it is located within the settlement, it is connected to or have access to existing services within Machynlleth. They are providing solar PV panels as part of it. I'm not entirely sure on the fossil fuel nature of the scheme. I presume it would be more of an operational function, and a desire maybe of a new school to provide a means of heating energy which is compliant with modern requirements. I know it's a bit vague, but
Councillor Carl, does that satisfy your question?
Kind of. It's a little bit vague, and I appreciate it put Richard on the spot there. But yeah, it would be something I would be very much in favour of looking at, as this is going to be our latest flagship school, if you like, new development, and with the current administration, I know they're quite keen on environmental issues. It'd be hopefully something that they will consider. I know it's very easy to go down the fossil fuel gas side of things, but yeah, while we've got such an array of solar panels on the roof, it would be great if we could mitigate some of the energy costs that way by maybe using electric boilers and what have you. But thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Carl. If I may go back to the concern, Councillor Gareth, I've just gone through my notes. I think there's a separate application for a playing field coming forward for this school as well. Is that right, Chairman?
to the north.
There is something in the pipeline to address that. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't, Richard, do you know anything in detail about that, or Peter?
I don't.
No.
I know Richard's got to come back on the energy
Oh, sorry.
side, so I don't know if you.
Yeah, so yeah,
Apologies,
sorry,
I
there is
forgot
there
to
is
include
includes
Apologies.
information. So the proposal is kind of meets passive house and BREEAM standards, heat recovery and that. So I think that it does look like they are acknowledging, given the nature of the scheme and what they're providing, that they want to do the best they can in respect of modern heating and
I've just been advised that, Richard.
yeah, the building has no gas. It's going to be renewables.
Sorry.
The building won't be won't utilize gas. It'll utilize renewable energy sources.
Councillor Carl, hopefully that.
Thank you,
answers
Chair.
your concern. Thank
Yeah.
you, Councillor Carl. Councillor Deborah, please.
Thank you, Chair. It's following on from Councillor Garrett's question about. I was a little bit disappointed because it is going to be the flagship school of it, but there's no means of all ability. I can't see it on the plans to get to the other floors. There's plenty of stairwells, but there's no other access to other floors by people who can't use stairwell. That's all.
So lifts you're talking.
Lifts, I'm talking.
Gemma, would you
Accessibility.
like to come out on that?
I've just actually got the floor plan open. I can see that there is a lift proposed.
Yeah.
No, no.
I appreciate the plans are a little bit small for us to interpret, but Gemma, there are plans for lifts. There's got to be in the modern day.
Yeah, it shows it right by the stairwell. It shows a lift in that kind of hollow by the stairwells.
Thank you, Gemma. Sorry, I missed it.
No, that's fine. Thank you, Councillor Deborah. Councillor Clare, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to check something. The report officer did mention it in his presentation, but I just want to be clear that on the updated report, it says an update from NRW on the appropriate assessment will be provided. Am I understanding it right that our own ecologist is happy that there'll be no adverse effect on the SAC, and we've consulted NRW, but they've not replied? Is that the situation?
That's my understanding, Richard.
Yeah, so we've carried out the process as required by the Habitats regulations. As competent authority, we've undertaken the assessments, and we've consulted the nature conservation body, as it's worded. So in this case, Natural Resources Wales, and we've given them a reasonable time frame in which to provide that response. Given that they haven't provided a response in that reasonable time frame, we are allowed to move forward without their response on the application.
Councillor Clare.
Yeah, thank you. I just want confirmation, but our own ecologist, as a competent authority, is satisfied there'll be no adverse effect. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, they're
you.
the one that's. Well, yeah, they've
Thank you.
undertaken it for us. Thank you.
Councillor Clare, you content?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Councillor Adrian and then Councillor Edwin, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to mention something. It says say somewhere in the pack it's going to be 100% electric. The site is going to be 100% electric. It's there in the pack somewhere. Just to clarify that point, right? On the map, the there's a blue area outlined. Is that part of the site? North? It's
No,
got a blue
that's
line.
just denoting land in the applicant's ownership.
So is that something that might be going to be used for playing fields in the future? Is that what you're? Because to get to the point, the whole lot looks like Gareth said, looks quite condensed, and you know, whereas a green we can't see, but you know, it's a flagship thing, and I think this looks very urban and tight. But if that's available in the future for some future playing areas, I'm very happy. So it is
Gemma.
in the land.
Adrian, I think Gemma has some relevant update.
Yeah, I've just done a history search. So that area shown in the land, it was granted planning permission, 2021 it looks like, for a green sports pitch.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gemma. Where are we now? Councillor Edwin, please.
Thank you, Chair. I thought that Councillor Angela was before me, actually.
Councillor Angela.
Sorry, Chair. I don't know why my hand is coming up a bit white. I don't think you can see it on the screen. I don't know how to change the colour.
Please, Councillor Angela. Thank you, Councillor Edwin. Councillor Angela, please.
Yeah. I just want to thank Gemma for clarifying about the lift, because I was going to ask that. I've got the plan up expanded on my other screen. I still can't see the lift, but I'm glad to hear there is one. So my question was about the comments raised by the Community Council, and I couldn't see have they all been addressed. And in particular, it was the comment they made about the zebra crossing, so the safety access to the school. So yeah, has that been addressed? They were asking for a zebra crossing on the north side of the school off the main road.
Richard, are you happy to answer this, or do you want me to get Alistair to come in? But when we got to appreciate this is on a trunk road.
It was in the supplementary pack, the comments from the Town and Community Council.
Richard, please.
Yes, so we're considering the application for us. It has gone through PAC consultation previously and full consultation with the Welsh Government, and they have deemed that the crossing access to the site is satisfactory, subject to conditions securing that. I don't know if Alice will be aware of any particular highway crossing requirements for that element.
Alistair, if you're there, we'd be grateful for your input.
Yeah, hello, Chair. Obviously, as sort of said, it is a trunk road matter, so it's not something that really I should comment on. They obviously will have assessed it on the basis of the application proposal. If members are asking for engineering advice rather than sort of in relation to the trunk road, then I suppose that might be a question I'd have to ask of sort of Peter and Rachel as to whether it's appropriate for me to give members that advice or not.
Oh, thank you for that. I'm not sure that answers my question. So the Town and Community Councillor, they are asking that the crossing, so it implies that a crossing has been referred to, be placed on the north side. So are you saying that that crossing is nothing to do with the local authority, or are you saying there isn't a crossing, or are you saying that there will be a crossing?
I think the proposal before committee is that there is a crossing to the south of the roundabout. I don't know if you can highlight that, Richard, can you on the plan? I don't know if you can just hover. That's it, that sort of black blob there. So that that's the crossing that's proposed with the application. What the town council are asking for in the community is for that to be located to the northern end of that sort of area there. That would be a matter that Trunk Road would have to consider. And obviously all of the assessment that's been done that I've seen, all of the risks, the road safety audit, all of that has been done on the basis of the application, as you would expect. If you were to consider moving that, you would obviously have to go through all of that reassessment. You would have to assess whether that crossing could be sort of physically located there. Could you meet all the visibility requirements? And again, put it back through a road safety audit to consider the risks associated with that and any sort of tweaks to a design that might be needed. So
Okay, I
I
think you've
imagine
answered.
Welsh
Thank you,
Government would
Alistair. I think
consider
you've
it, but
explained that.
you'd have
Yeah.
to go back through a whole technical process. I'm not commenting on their behalf. I can't do that. I'm just giving you my engineering input to you as members rather
Yeah.
than commenting on
So,
behalf of the Trunk
Yeah,
Road
that gives
agent.
me reassurance. It has been looked at from a full safety and the road.
Certainly, if you
smooth
look
type.
through all of the documents submitted, yes, they have gone
Lovely.
through the full process. Yeah, it still has to go through a technical approval process with Welsh Government after this. But, at this stage, you need to be confident that there's enough in there that it could actually be delivered. And in my opinion, engineering wise, they've done that.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you both of you. No.
I'm happy with that. I think what we've seen is the town council express an alternative here, maybe late in the day as well. I don't know how early they express that, but that's the whole purpose of the pre-application consultation again. Those types of issues can be raised early, built in early, but we've got to look at what's in front of us, and providing we've got acceptability and we have the Trunk Road Authority happy with it. So I think we've got an acceptable proposal in front of us without looking at an alternative.
Thank you, Peter. If you're happy, Angela, I'll move on to Councillor Edwin. Thank you. Councillor Edwin, please. Thank you for your patience.
Diolch, Cadeirydd. Excuse me if these questions have been answered, that I was struggling a little bit hearing you at the moment. Couple of points really, just asking how many students did you say were the school?
So it's proposing cater for 210 primary, 330 secondary with sixth form, 48 early years, 24 flying start.
Thank you. The sports hall, are you able to give me the rough dimensions of the sports hall?
Not off the top of my head, to be honest.
One thing I'd like to go through with really, and I'm looking at it basically from experience of school in our area, and hopefully looks as if there could be a new one on the horizon. Because it's proximity to the highway here, are there sleeping policemen put in position there on the highway? Because I've noticed just as of late, travelling around Carmarthenshire and Ceredigion, they're very supportive of the sleeping policemen in that area too. It does slow the traffic down. It has more effect actually than the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. And I see it in the area where I am, that quite often it's the local people that travel the fastest. But I think looking forward, because the number of children, students accessing the school and crossing, etc., the sleeping policeman idea is very, very beneficial, I can assure you.
Thank you. Just to follow back what kind of Alice was saying, it is a trunk road. It is under Welsh Government control. So if they would deem it to be appropriate, it'd be something that they'd have to consider and evidence through their own technical reporting as to whether that is something to be put in place. It doesn't form part of this application because it is Welsh Government, so they would be the ultimate people that would need to consider that outside of this.
There are currently sleeping policemen there, Councillor Edwin.
There we are. And the other point was, I could see on the early part of it was making the access for disabled students to be put forward by you.
The application will comply with full DDA requirements. So as mentioned, there's lifts and that, so it'll be fully accessible for students across the full site.
Good. Thank you. In that instance, I'm more than happy to support. Chair, diolch yn fawr.
Thank you, Councillor Edwin. Councillor Gareth E. Jones, please.
Yeah, just very quickly, Chair, just going back to the point that Angela made, is there any pedestrian access other than through the main entrance? Because currently the access is to the north of the site, where the car park is. All the population, or the majority of population, most of the houses are to the north and east of the site. So people walking, students walking from the town may wish to come through I don't know whether there's going to be a back gate or not, or is it all going to be through that one single entrance?
Richard?
Thank you. I may want to bring Alistair into this, as he may know more of the background discussions that have happened. The school is, Powys Highways have been consulted on the proposal. They haven't raised any comments through the application in respect of active travel, but I know further discussions have happened in other areas in respect of it.
So just one follow-up question, Chair. Please, it's passive house because there's already a building on site that's passive house. Do you know that's still going to be part of the education provision? It's just to the north of the car park.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you then.
Sorry, there's already one building on the site that's passive house that was built about 15 years ago. Do you know if that's going to be still part of the education provision?
So the northern element of the site, the cladded.
Gemma?
Yes.
Have you, did I see you? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's don't know if you can see on my photos. It's around the corner of this building. Well, maybe top end over there behind. Yes, that'll be retained as part of the proposal. It's in the let me go back. To the very top of the plan is the other one. It's the this overflow parking, so that's retained.
Thank you. Members, I've had a proposal from Councillor Carl to go with officer recommendation. I don't see any other hands up and we haven't had a seconder for the proposal. Councillor Jeff, thank you. If there aren't any other comments, and please help me if I'm missing any hands again. Can't see that I am. It's been proposed and seconded, so Carol, are you happy to put it up in the chat as the vote? Thank you. Hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to vote. Carol, are you?
Chair, I've only got 10 at the moment.
Has anyone not been able to? If you could indicate now. Should be 13, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
13. Perfect. So we'll close the vote. Carol.
So Chair, 13 members able to vote. 13 members have voted for the application, so that means there's no members against and no abstentions.
Deal. Thank you, Carol. So application 24/0710/FUL has gone with officer recommendation for a new school in Uscall Bro Hub again. Thank you very much, Richard, for your detailed work. And there by magic, Councillor Vaughan appears. Members, I'm in your hands. It's 10-1. Are you happy to carry on with the next application? Everyone's nodding. So in that case, we're moving on to application 24/04/0468/FUL, an application at Bryn Derwen, Abermule. This is an application by a county councillor and a member of this committee. So I will ask Councillor Gareth Pugh if he would be so kind as to leave the room. And at the same time, if I can ask Rachel to talk us through the formalities that everything has gone through the correct procedures.
Chair.
Yes, Gareth.
I don't know how to leave the room. Does Carol do that?
She'll kick you out now.
Yeah. But if I leave the room, does that mean I can still listen in the background as a guest?
Unfortunately not.
I thought I could.
You'll have to go into the public. Carol's saying she'll move you to the public.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Councillor Pierre. Yeah, so Councillor Gareth Pugh has left the building, as it were. So Rachel, members, if I can have your attention, Rachel, please.
Thank you, Chair. Members, to advise you, given the nature of the applicant in this matter today, in line with the planning protocol, I can confirm that the file has been reviewed and it has been processed correctly. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Again, we have no speakers on this, and the officer handling this application is Hannah Miller. So I think leaves your second case application with us. So the floor is all yours. Thank you.
Diolch, Cadeirydd. So I'll go straight into it. The first slide shows an aerial image of the village of Abermule with the approximate location of the proposed building denoted with the red circle. Next, the location plan shows the extent of the site in relation to its surroundings. The track and building are outlined in red, and you will note the presence of residential dwellings to the east and south of the site. The River Severn and the Montgomery Canal are to the west, with the B4386 to the south. The block plan shows the agricultural building to the north, with the proposed track linking it to the B road to the south. The site access was previously approved by this committee under application 221528 full. The track itself will be crushed Criggan stone laid over geotextile fabric. Highways are satisfied, save the inclusion of a number of pre-commencement conditions to secure the proper construction of the previously approved access. Also, I'm not sure if you can see on there, but noted on that plan as well is an owl box proposed to be positioned in an existing mature oak tree, and that will act in conjunction with an insect hotel and further tree planting as biodiversity enhancement for the site. The elevational plans of the proposed building, it's a very much of a typical design for an agricultural building of this type. It will measure 9.1 metres by 18.4 metres and will reach a ridge height of 7.4 metres. The proposed materials are steel portal frame with Yorkshire boarding above concrete panels for the walls and box profile roofing sheets for the roof. The proposed use of the building has been confirmed by the applicant for the storage of hay. This will be conditioned so as to restrict the use of livestock housing at this location to safeguard the amenity of neighbouring residential properties. This is a constraints map, and it shows the approximate location of the proposed building indicated by the red star. The area hatched in blue shows the extent of the remains of a Motte and Bailey on site, which is a scheduled ancient monument. The stone track had previously obtained scheduled monument consent from Cadw prior to the application being submitted. And then during the application process, an impact statement of the impact on the building was submitted and Cadw consulted. Cadw agreed with the assessment that the impact could be reduced to an acceptable level if the colour of the building were to be green to match the backdrop of an existing tree line on site. So this has been included as one of the conditions. In addition, due to the possibility of archaeology being found on site, it is also recommended that an archaeologist be present during groundworks, and that can also be conditioned. Just etched in red on this slide as well is the Montgomery Canal, which is both a special area of conservation and a site of special scientific interest. Both ecology and NRW were consulted, and a satisfactory pollution prevention plan produced to safeguard the site. There are no further concerns with regard to the canal. The next slide I've just included, as although it's showing flood zones basically, Although flood zones do not impact the site itself, they do add to the constraints by limiting the options for the actual location of the building and the track. So the flood zone in conjunction with the Mott and Bailey Scheduled Ancient Monument on site have led to the exact placement of the track and the building, so as to lessen the impact and avoid those constraints. So I just thought that was worth mentioning. Next, I'm just going to take you through a range of site photos. This one being taken from the B road to the south of the site, looking north across the Scheduled Ancient Monument towards the location of the building. The access will be formed to the left of the tree in the foreground, so there, with the track then leading up and around the back of the trees here to the location of the building, somewhere around here. And this is a photo taken some halfway along the proposed location of the track. And the Scheduled Ancient Monument is to the left and in front of the trees. It's largely quite overgrown, so there's not much to see on site. And you can just make out as well. Well, actually, I can't on here. Oh, it's because I've got this here, but there is a residential dwelling right on the right hand side. I don't know if, oh, you can see it. I've got things in front of me, so I can't see it. You can see it on my paper. This one just shows the approximate location of the building, looking northwest. And again, the approximate location of the building to the left of the fence here. There is an arrow as well, which I can't see because again, it's onto the right, but that just denotes other nearby agricultural buildings, just to give some context. Lastly, this photo is from the approximate location of the proposed building, looking southeast back towards the village of Abermule. You'll see those mature oak trees there offer some screen into the residential properties, with further hawthorn tree planting proposed, which will offer further screening. Just to conclude, the principle of development has been met, and all consultee recommendations have either been met or included in the conditions. So therefore, the recommendation today is one of approval with those proposed conditions attached. Thank you, and back to you, Cadeirydd.
Thank you, Hannah. Councillor Carl Lewis, please. You're the first to indicate to speak, and then Councillor Gareth E. Jones. Councillor Carl.
Thank you, Chair. With Cadw in mind, they're happy with the mitigating measures that are being put forward by the applicant. Highway seem to be happy, NRW and all the other consultees, and I believe this is only in front of us because the applicant is a county councillor. The community council are satisfied as well. So therefore, when you're ready, Chair, I'm happy to move the application. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Carl. Councillor Gareth Jones, please.
Yeah, and I'm just happy to second it, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Gareth. Councillor Jeff.
They stole my thunder. Actually, that's what I was going to say. So, okay. No more from me.
Any other comments? We've had a proposal in a second, but I'll give you all a couple of seconds. If there are no further comments to be made, Carol, please, are you happy to take us to the electronic vote? There you go, members, at 1 o'clock, 4.3. How are we looking, Carol? Should be 13 of us again.
At the moment, Chair, only 3.
I'm not able to vote for some reason. I don't know, the computer's not having it.
Right, I've got 12 now on the system, Chair. So if we take Councillor
Councillor Jonathan, you happy to give a verbal?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm for.
Four.
Thank you.
So chair, so that's 13 members having voted, and that is 13 for the officer's recommendation, none against and no abstentions.
Thank you, Carol. Diolch yn fawr. So, application 24/0468/FUL, Bryn Derwin Amule has gone with officer recommendation and is approved. Thank you very much, Hannah, for your presentation. Members, are you still happy to press on at 1 o'clock? Yeah, thank you. Item number, Chair, bring Councillor Pugh back in. Apologies, everyone at home. We're just waiting to bring Councillor Pugh back into the meeting. Carol, as I know he'll be happy with items, I will move on if that's okay, just to keep the meeting flowing. And when he comes in, I'll stop before anything where he's actually needed. So number 5, decision to receive the delegated list. Thank you, Councillor Elwyn. Thank you, Councillor Deborah. No questions from it. Give everyone an opportunity. No. So we've received those. Thank you. Appeal decision, item 6. To receive a letter regarding an appeal considered by the Planning and Environmental Decisions Wales. Do you wish to, anybody wishes any comments? No. Right, I better wait for Councillor Gareth in case he has got anything on that. Technology. Just carry on. Are you all happy for me to carry on? And if he wants to, I'll allow him afterwards. Thank you. Item number 7, to receive a verbal update from the professional lead in relation to developments of a national significance. Peter, if you may, please.
Just really information sharing, Chair. We did have a decision last week on a development of national significance, the Garnbach Energy Park Wind Farm, North Radnorshire, just edging into southern Montgomeryshire. I've placed the decision notice, the decision letter, Vector's report on our website. When I went to look on PEDU's website, I couldn't find it. So I've put it on our website. What I'll do in a second is I'll just share that in the chat. So if people are interested or members interested in just looking at the decision around that, it was an approval for those. It's been in the press as well. So that's the first one we've seen recently. Obviously, there's a lot more.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I'm here. I'm back.
Good.
Sorry about that.
We're just receiving a verbal update from Peter on DNS. So
yeah,
I'll come back to you in a minute.
Yeah.
Gareth.
So there's quite a number of companies out there who are really at the early stages preparing projects. A lot of them are doing the informal engagement side of things at the moment. So they're doing that PAC work that we've heard a lot about today, that pre-application consultation work. So they're meeting with communities, setting up drop-in events and so on. So I just encourage members to share that with their communities, make their communities aware of it. I think it's all about trying to inform the development from an early stage. So there's a lot there. Our role as an authority comes into that. There is pre-application work that we do. That's in confidence, though, that work, because they're paying us to do that work. So it's difficult for me to share things around that. So I'm getting lots of queries around that. I have put a website together some time ago. It's on our planning pages around developments of national significance. On that, there is a link to PEDU's website. So when the developers sort of express their initial interest in bringing forward projects, they approach PEDU, and PEDU begins building, like our planning portal, a page for each project. So again, if you've got that website's useful to share probably with any queries that you might have from your own constituents in your ward. So this committee does have a role. So maybe just being mindful in time. When the application is submitted, a development of national significance application, we are required in time to prepare a local impact report. As members, you can call that report in to this committee. So this committee is responsible for approving local impact reports. Turnaround times on those is pretty quick. PEDU want local impact report within 5 weeks. If we're any longer, we lose a fee for that, or the fee reduces. So I'll be looking to try and turn any that come round quickly. One at the front of the queue at the moment is probably the Nant Mythil wind farm, which hasn't been submitted yet. So it will be submitted before long. I'm not quite sure of the exact date. And as I say, I will then receive correspondence saying, can Powys County Council respond really around the impacts of that? So I think that's really with members to call in those types of application if they want to. I should say I declare an interest with that application at the moment, just so everybody's aware of that one. But that's just general update.
That will be shared with all members, not just the planning committee.
Local impact reports is a responsibility of this committee. I think so. In terms of informing a local impact report, it very much has to stay to the impacts of the project itself. So it's no different to any other application. It's looking at ecology, it's looking at highway implications, built heritage, cultural implications, those sorts of things.
So for my clarity, it's up to the local member to call this in for planning committee.
It is
the same as where we are now. So that needs every member being informed of where we are.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Thank you, Councillor Alwyn.
Well, thank you. Question to Peter. Basically, I think you touched on it. It is there are 3 such applications or potential projects come in my area just in the last week or so. There's a lot of work for the department and for the team. Are we actually being paid sufficiently to cover the true costs of this authority?
Yeah, what I do is I look at planning performance agreements with the developers. So because it does use resource to respond, I'm not going to do that for free for the authority. We expect that to be funded by the developer. And in some instances, we've got to call in specialist advice. Things like noise is very specialist when it comes to those types of development. So that has to be funded from the developer. Okay, but it's done as that pre-application through as a form of pre-application. Okay, so it's done in confidence. That then goes back to the developer. It's used to shape and inform their proposal. It still leaves us, though, with that ability to prepare that local impact report. The impact report really gets submitted to PEDU alongside, I know NLW have an impact report. I think one of the other members asked me is about community councils. There is in the legislation a voluntary arrangement for community town councils who could submit local impact reports. I'm not aware. We haven't had many of them that have got that far yet, so I don't think I've seen a community town council do that. But if they do that, there's guidance to be followed again. it's all, if you went and found my web page, what I might do is share that with members again. It's got the links to that guidance. So, okay.
Happy, Councillor Vaughan?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Councillor Gareth, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Is there any work we do in readiness for to prepare the local impact report? Because 5 weeks isn't long to actually get the request from PEDO or the meeting and actually get that information back. And the second part of the question, because Nat Nickel is not in my area, but right in the edge, and will have a significant impact on my area, am I allowed to call it in, or does it need to be one of the councillors whose area it actually sits in?
I think in terms of the latter point, I think it is within the area of the council. I'm going very much from what's in the constitution, the section 13 delegation scheme. So that's where that's at. I suspect I've got the ability to refer applications if need be, although I've got a conflict, as you're aware, with that scheme. In terms of advance work, what can we do? Well, that pre-application work is really informing that. That will tease out impacts and so on. It may be that we're not always able we see an impact that's still left. So that will find its way into the impact report, which if need be, I will bring back to this committee for you to consider. So it's there. We'll have to consult as well on that. So at that point, we will consult the range of statutory bodies again, consultees. So it's in developers' interest really to do all that front loading work in the development of their project, because they're looking to obviously reduce the number of impacts really, and that's what the inspector will be focusing on ultimately. So these projects go forward to hearings, and the inspector will then set the agenda for the hearings. They identify their matters and issues that they want to go through. So they'll use our impact report to inform that work. Okay.
Thank you, Peter. Councillor Jonathan Wilkinson.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, question for Peter. Sorry, I lost my video, don't know something to that. Yeah, about 10 years ago, on the back of around 5 wind farm applications, there was one of the largest conjoined public inquiries ever seen in the UK, in which the 5 wind farms were discussed along with the infrastructure from those wind farms. What would it take to trigger that in this case?
Yeah, I think there's a number of proposals out there. I think the decision makers have got to work out. Ultimately, it's I'm not influencing that as I'm sat here. I think it depends on the timing of things, probably in part. So Planning Environment Decisions Wales, PEDU, they may consider should they bring a joint hearing together to determine projects that might be at a similar time scale. I think that's very much in their remit rather than mine. There is also another project out there, the Verneuil-Frankton transmission project, which is being ultimately that will be a UK government decision because it crosses the border between Wales and England. That is heading towards a statutory consultation stage, I believe early next year, spring next year. So that is a transmission line that starts in Powys but goes over the border to England to connect with the national grid. Okay.
Yeah. Can I come back on that, Chair?
Please do.
Yeah. Going back to the wind farm applications, is a possible public inquiry something that as a local authority we can request or lobby or push for in any way?
I think I'd have to check the regulations there. I think normally an inspector will determine the appropriate mechanism to hold or consider a proposal. I suspect the regulations are written to leave that option open, but generally what we see are hearings. So difference between a hearing and an inquiry is that there's advocacy involved in inquiries with lawyers challenging and cross-examining. very much the inspector's decision, that one, not one that we can necessarily influence, I wouldn't have thought.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you both. I can't see any other hands up. No. So thank you, Peter, for that update. Councillor Gareth Pugh, we have gone through the delegated list and also the appeal decision. Was there anything you wish to bring up in related to those two agenda items?
No, it's fine, thanks.
Thank you. Right, moving swiftly on, revisions to the planning protocol, item number 8. Just for a little bit of background, there's been a lot of reporting back to us from members of the public that the officer starts off with an application and just gives a basic background. Then the speakers have an opportunity to speak. Then the officer takes us to the recommendation, and there's no opportunity for the speakers, the objectors, or for everybody to address any concerns that they've got that's been brought up by the officer. So we've had a couple of meetings. I've spoken to several of you with Councillor Jake Berryman, with the officers as well, about possibly changing things slightly. So Peter will take us through this now, and it's at our gift, as I understand it, whether or not to adopt this, whether you think it's for the betterment or not. So Peter, please.
Okay. Yeah, I think, Chair, you've probably described it well enough. Planning protocol responsibility, it's delegated down to this committee, has authority for determining the content of the protocol. So I think in short, what we're doing is proposing amending the speaking arrangements, the order of who says what when. I think it will give a flow through the application by amending this. I would just say I'm happy to recommend that if members, obviously through you, Chair, if any members has any concerns, maybe raise now. Otherwise, I think we're just trying to simplify it and for efficiency reasons and help.
Yeah, and give members of the public more opportunity to address their concerns during the process. Councillor Claire, please, followed by Councillor Carl.
Thank you, Chair. Just like to say the proposed change is something that I'm more familiar with in other local authorities, and I'm more than happy to recommend that change be made. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Clare. And Councillor Carl?
Thank you, Chair. Happy to support this. Just inquiring, how many complaints have we had on the current format?
I wouldn't say they're actually complaints. It's we've had a few emotional meetings over the past few months, and some of the members of the public have come up afterwards and spoken to officers, to Rachel, to myself, about their lack of opportunity to correct is some of the words used, some of the information that officers have presented. And there will still be the right for the officers to come back afterwards, so that doesn't take that away. But in actually written complaints, Carl, no, but lots of verbal comments following a meeting.
Okay, has any agents approached you stating the same as those members of the public?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Happy to support you. Thank you.
I'm just going to add, maybe from my perspective, what it might do is, if the officer presents the whole report, I'm hoping what we'll see is maybe they clarify the detail and content of the application, and then that the speaker, it probably informs the speaker and what they're going to say, because we've introduced it throughout. I think we've got to have the opportunity to come back, though, because the speakers may raise additional matters that we'd like to respond.
Yeah, and that's still in place. And at the end of the day, this is something we can try, and if we don't feel it works as a committee, we've got the opportunity again to revisit it. So in that case, we need a proposer and a seconder to go with this, and a show of hands, please. Of course you can, please, certainly, Peter.
Would it make a difference if there's more than one speaker? Because it could prolong the distance of that digestion of that problem or not?
We encourage speakers to try to avoid, there's a management of speaking process that goes on before committee. People like Richard are involved in that, so he's trying to make sure the speakers don't repeat the same things, otherwise that would prolong the committee. Yeah. 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 it is difficult, I think, to do that. We are trying to find efficient ways through it. And we've seen it in this committee before where they tend to focus on individual issues, which is a good way of sharing their time. But I'm always looking for we want to get to the nub of things as quickly as possible, and all our time is precious. I don't know, Richard, you've got a view on that? I think we're trying to just encourage them to collaborate as speakers where we're able to. We're not always able to do that.
I'm all for it. It's just a question I wanted to clarify, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Carl, is that a legacy hand?
No, Chair, I'm happy to propose or second if it hasn't been proposed already. So
Thank you, Councillor. I'll take you as a proposal. Councillor Peters a seconder. Just by a show of hands, if everyone. Oh, I'm happy for a show of hands if you are, Carol. I think everyone's hands are up in the chamber. Is everyone happy? Hand? Yeah. I think that's unanimous. Are you happy with that, Carol? Thank you. Good. I think Councillor Edwin's stomach is rumbling, so we need to move on. So thank you. Item 9, planning performance update.
With me, Chair, thank you. I haven't brought one of these for a while, so my apologies, Chair, for not bringing one sooner. It is bang up to date though. I've added in the quarterly performance figures for the last quarter, ending in September this year. So it's those are in the process of being submitted to Welsh Government at the moment. Welsh Government's behind on actually publishing this information. They do publish online. I've basically updated quarter by quarter performance. I think generally what we're seeing is improving performance. I think first couple of tables show the volume of work that's going on within the team, within the service. So a substantial number of applications being determined. So last quarter of the 331 applications determined in the quarter. We're carrying a workload. I looked yesterday of around about 560-ish. It varies day by day because decisions go out each day, incoming applications coming in each day. But we're on about 560 when I looked yesterday. That's our carrying workload that the team are working on. So they're a busy team. Determinations, I've put a table there around what we've received. You could see it sort of what goes in and what goes out tends to be quite level, which is good. Average time, I think majors, that's table 2.4. Major applications always take longer to determine because they're more complicated. It's good to see there's an improvement in the last quarter. The speed of those, there were 5 applications, major applications in quarter 2. So that's ending in September. Average time for those is 181 days. All applications, improvements on the previous quarters. All applications does include major applications, so it's householders, it's all types of application. 132 days. I think there's still room for us to work hard at that, trying to improve timescales there. I think that's the significance of good quality applications arriving with us. Good applications are those that hopefully go through the process much quicker. I've given some examples just last quarter of some major applications that we determined there, such as a garden centre improvements down at 3 Cocks, or I think this committee dealt with an application for 16 dwellings in Welshpool. I think that was the Gungrak school site. So you can get a feel. We've dealt with a couple of major applications in committee today as well. So those will be counted towards next quarter. In terms of determination timescales, we do have a Welsh Government does set a target there of 80% being the good category. We've exceeded that in the quarters that I've shown there. 99% quarter 1 this year is to me it's just outstanding. We're just one short of the 1%. So as I said earlier, what I haven't seen, what I can't do at the moment is compare that with other authorities because Welsh Government hasn't published that data. But I suspect we're going to be fairly close to top performing on that indicator in Wales. So well done, team, for those. It's fallen a little bit. It's 96% last quarter, but that's still good. So those time periods do include agreed extensions of time with applicants. Okay, so we have to seek those and secure them. Okay, major applications, there weren't many. As I said, last quarter there were only 5. 4 of those were determined, 4 of the 5 determined within the agreed time scales. So the target we achieved was 80%, which again meets the Welsh Government good standard. Appeals, I could have totted them up for you. We don't get huge numbers of appeals, thankfully. Last quarter there were 3 appeals, 2 of which were dismissed. So the average there, or the percentage rate, was 3/4, 66.7%, and again that's exceeding Welsh Government's good target. Planning enforcement, I think, begin to see the impact of the 2 officers really coming through in the figures here in terms of the amount of work that they're dealing with. Number of enforcement cases, the target that was set by Welsh Government is to try and deal with 80% within 84 days or less. We were at 78% last quarter, so we were too short. All it takes is 1 application probably from those numbers to have got us there. So we were close, but just fell short. Again, I'm pleased with what the team have been doing there, and it's showing progression. And there's a lot of work going on in there. So there's 112 investigations last quarter. That's more than we've seen in previous quarters. If you look at the table, it's significantly more. And on top of that, we're actually closing enforcement cases as well. And just to give you an indication of how many we're carrying, there's about 400 enforcement cases. So the team are busy. They are working through it well. I'm pleased with where we've got to. Always more work to be done. But I think those are headline figures for you. Happy to answer any questions that members may have, and I will continue to bring reports back to this committee so you can see how we're doing.
Thank you very much, Peter. And yeah, good. Councillor Gareth. Pugh. No, I'm good. Jones. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Mine's not a question. Mine's more of a request. Can I first by saying thank you for this, because this is one of the best sets of data I think we receive as councillors. Shows it over a period of time, which is really good. On table 2.3, where you've got the number of cases at the start of the quarter, then number at the bottom, you could add another row at the bottom, the same number of cases carried forward to the next quarter, just to have completeness. Because I'm a bit of a number geek, I just sat down and used my calculator to, yeah. But again, thank you very much. Really informative.
Thank you, Councillor Gareth. Are there any other questions towards Peter? No. Kind of following on from this, I think Councillor Jake and Gwilym will wish to be at the next meeting.
They're hoping to attend if they can.
Yeah. So then, and then Councillor Jake is in this one, yeah, observing. So they'll be then and give us an update on this one as well. Yep.
Yep.
Good. Thank you. All right. Final item before us this afternoon, item 10, minutes of the taxi licensing subcommittees. So we'll go to the meeting that was held on the 6th of August. Councillor Jonathan was in the chair, along with Councillor Clare and Councillor Gareth E. Jones. Councillor Jonathan, are you happy that this is a true record of the meeting that happened, and are Councillor Clare and Councillor Gareth happy?
Yes, I'm happy with that, Chair.
Councillor Clare, yeah. All right. So these can be signed up. Thank you. And then going forward to the 4th of September, myself was in the chair, along with Councillor Jonathan and Councillor Hugh. Councillor Hugh unfortunately isn't with us. Councillor Jonathan, are you happy with these sets of minutes? And I am too. So Hugh was as well. That's great. Thank you very much. Good. I believe that concludes our meeting. So it has been a long one, but again, thank you all members for your attendance today. And I'll close the meeting at 1:30. Diolch yn fawr iawn pawb. Thank you.
Thank you,
Oh,
Chair.
thank you. Got to thank officers too. I always forget to do that. So thank you all officers who are present and all their hard work. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you.
Thank you all.